Okay, we're live. This is James speaking. Welcome to another open classroom. I'm going to, first of all, if anyone's online right now, these are live sessions on Wednesday I do. I usually have some kind of thing that I want to take a look or spend some time with, play around with, and I'm going to do my best to copy that. Oh, we've got some people on. There we go. I got to make sure that I turn all the other speakers off, which I don't think I have. So I'll try and top there. Let's stop that one. Perfect. Okay, sorry, James here. What I want to do today is, technically I wanted to go over some ChatGPT stuff and things that I've been working on in that space. On the other hand, I did a live session today, this morning, about an hour ago, and I didn't really like it. So maybe I'll do that as well. But if there are questions, I'm just looking over to the side. These are totally by myself, so I'll do my best to see if anything comes on. If there are questions, please let me know, and I'll do my best to answer them. But just let me know in the chat below. Do you want to do something on ChatGPT that I'm working on, or do you want to do something on membership sites and campuses? What's the difference? And let's see if we get anything that's going on there. I'm just going to open the panel. I don't know if I can open the panel with this one, but we'll find out. Okay. So I'll tell you what I'm working on in ChatGPT. If I don't get any questions, I'm going to do the membership stuff because it was interesting. It is important, and it's all about building out your campus and your education business. So here's one of the things I'm working on, and I'll show you the prompts and all the stuff that I've done. But I've been doing a lot of work and talking about how live video, live training, all of this stuff that people are starting to do live or spending some time live, about how important it is. And the big reason that I think it is personally is because of this whole thing about authenticity. And if you've been watching some of the other videos, I've done close to 300 now on YouTube in the past, I don't know, 5 or 6 months. And for the most part, maybe 80 or 90% of them have been live sessions. And it's just stuff that I'm thinking about, more importantly, that I run into on a regular basis. So in as much as they're stories, they're ideas that come up just because I've been talking about it or doing it with clients, or have had to do something with clients and then just reporting on it or showing what we did as something that you'd be able to use in your education business. So having said that, the thing that comes up is this whole thing about authenticity and storytelling. And the scary part is this: when you, if you start doing searches, for example, on YouTube about membership sites and selling online courses, or you find anything or you like anything on Facebook that remotely resembles that topic or is close to that topic, you get inundated with all sorts of ads and sponsored posts, that kind of thing. At least on Facebook. I don't think as much on LinkedIn, but definitely on Facebook. So you end up getting all of this kind of stuff shoved at you, and there's a ton of words that get used continually. Online courses, tutorials, membership sites, community, audience. There's all of these words that all are around how-to businesses or education businesses. And frankly, it can get pretty confusing as to what is a community and should I focus on my community, or what is the difference between a course and a tutorial? What's a program? What's a mastermind? All of these different terms. And, you know, you go take a course about that mentions these, they may use them interchangeably. In fact, I run into the same problem personally. I may, use the word member. I may use the word student. I may use the word campus. I may use the word membership site. And I was looking back over my notes, thinking about this as they relate to my map, my campus map, which those 10 steps that I think are really important when you're building an education business. The thing with those is, like, where does this fit in? And do I need to make a decision about those? Or what's the difference and how does that play into those? So I ended up finding out more, or getting inundated more, with this thing about storytelling and how the big difference between AI prompting and being human or authentic was being able to tell stories. And I know each of us has a lot of stories, and in fact, that's the part that make us authentic. But it's one thing to know a story, it's another thing to tell a story. And I wish I could say, oh, it's easy to tell a story. No, it's not. I think I tell crappy stories because they don't have a technical structure to them, and they're more about recollections or thinking about something that happened in the past and then trying to relate it to something's happening now. But it's not a set structure. It's not something that follows or can be replicated identically each time. And I think it's important, but the question is, how can you actually get good at storytelling or be authentic when you can't tell stories, or you find it hard to tell stories, and frankly, you find it hard to find stories? There's generally two kinds of stories. There's personal stories, and then there might be, stories that you see in other people, whether they be real or an analogy or a metaphor or something. So it's hard to find them, I find. Again, personally, let me know what you think in the chat. And if you have questions about that, please let me know. I'm looking over here on the other screen. Hopefully I can see any of the chats that show up. I don't think there are any at this point, so I'll just keep on going on this. Again, ask questions. Do I have any live chat? I don't think so. 2 watching. Just going to go and double check here. No. Okay. So I found it hard. So what I was doing is I was looking, and a lot of people are talking about, well, you can't use AI to create stories that are authentic, that sound like a human. And then, one of the people I subscribe to is a guy by the name of Wes McDowell. I think he does some good videos. I subscribe to a lot of people, obviously, and you get caught in your own bubble about what's real and what's not, or what the common thread is, excuse me, is the people you subscribe to, not the people you don't subscribe to. And it was just this thing about AI is not authentic, and it's easy to tell when it's AI generated course content or newsletter content or marketing content or blog posts and even scripts for the videos that you do and the tutorials you do. And you're going to have to tell some stories to do that. So knowing that it's important, and I agree with that. And secondly, knowing it's not the easiest thing in the world to write a story or structure a story. I was thinking, hey, maybe I should create a prompt to create a story. So that's the one I've been working in the background. I'll probably do, today's Wednesday, I might do a video in the next little bit about that, just so that people can follow along with that. But I was kind of, it was kind of interesting, I think, to me anyways, because I used ChatGPT to create the prompts to create stories. And I'll show you that in a second. But if you can write stories, absolutely perfect. Go for it. And yes, include it. And use one of the structures, and I'll show you the ones that I ran into. But use that structure and try and weave stories into everything you do, whether it's a course and or whether it's a blog post that you're doing, a video script, what have you. So in the background here, what I'm going to do is we'll open up a couple screens here, and I'll open up another one just so we can see it. There we go. This was the map that I was kind of starting to do for this particular course. This was one that I was just working on. It was like how to tell authentic personal stories using AI. And again, I always start my stuff with the mind map, and this is where I was starting to kind of put it together and where I'll get the video together for it. And this is actually the Claude project that I created to get started with all of this. And we'll go through kind of the steps that I went through here, the type of prompts that I used, and how they kind of came together or were put together. So let me just go and I just want to open up, there we go. Top chat, I'm just looking to see if there's any questions or anything. Please let me know. I don't see any right now, but please let me know, and we'll go from there. So here's the stoop. What I did first, I said, what are the different types of storytelling that can be used with AI, prompting the user to add the story context or a unique personal perspective. So I'm using conversational prompting. This is Claude.ai. And what I did is I created a project first. And the project was creating personal stories for marketing your brand. That was kind of the project that I put together. And I went to Perplexity, actually, and I opened up a couple ones. I said different story models. So I went to Perplexity, I took a look at it, text, I pasted it in. I was saying, what are the different story models that we have as background? And then I looked more in detail on the past example, and that is a problem, agitate, solution is kind of a different kind of way to motivate people, but it was an example of how to use that motivational prompt and use it in a story. So I added that as reference material in this project, and then I started doing a chat with it. So the first thing I did was I was asking it, I said, what are the different kinds? And it went through and it told me, based on documents, I'll break down the storytelling frameworks and explain how to effectively use them. So Hero's Journey one, the story brand framework, which is for the customer, the problem, agitate, solve. That's the one that I think is best for marketing materials anyway. Pixar, so I guess the Disney model, engaging and emotional, the 3-act structure, and each framework. So it gave some recommendations on that. And I said, I'm going to be using these for personal stories in newsletters, email copy, and online course copy. So there's my prompt there. And again, this is conversational prompting. I'm not doing anything fancy. I'm not doing anything technical. I'm just saying, hey, here's some of the prompts, or this is what I want to do. Let's talk about it. So it went and it created all these additional pieces for me. And it basically told me to start off with, here's the different areas that they should be used for newsletters, kind of the structure. It wasn't what I wanted. So I said, if I was going to create a prompt to help people create these stories when they're not great storytellers, what would you do? And it gave me another kind of prompt. Wasn't necessarily what I wanted to. And I kept on going, digging down a little bit, and created a template for each of these individuals. So it picked one. So I've got a framework now for the different pieces there, and I was just trying to figure out from here an example. So I'll demonstrate using an example, generated response you would expect. So it goes through, and it goes through, and it gives a particular example of one for a newsletter. So here's the initial input. I want you to help me transform my personal experience into compelling marketing material. Basic elements, emotional elements, credibility elements, target information, and marketing goals. So Claude or ChatGPT, any of these ones, it's asking me for some input about my story, or about something that happened to me in the past, or about something that I've observed. So it's looking for all of these ones. And it's just going to create an example for me. And what it did is it gave me some subject lines, and it created a newsletter for me. So if this is a video tutorial, if this is kind of any material that you're using or creating content for, again, whether it's a newsletter or a blog post or a video script or a course lesson, you want to put a story in, basically wrote a story. $2,400, $12,400 mistake I almost made. And it gave me all of this kind of material, a bit of a story that's structured into it, plot twist, perfectionism, and a lot of bullet points here. And it was then trying to sell something. And I said, well, I really don't want to sell something in here. What I want to do is to be a little more educational. So I said, create a similar example that doesn't sell a product or service. I still want to have it call to action, okay? Pick one that shows it work. And also doing this, I'd like to know what assumptions you based for the story. So in this particular one, it created another example. And I opened it up, and then it came up with, let me just make sure I get the one open. Gave me all the pieces. And what it did is it looked through the key assumptions. Let me just go down to the bottom ones here so I get the piece here. So the Diary of the Dead Plant. So did another example, plants, and it brought it back to life, and it went through some of the different assumptions that were made, okay? And then told why it works, different pieces that were all included there. So the response has to look like a person wrote it, say a grade 4 level, it should be easy. The words, phrases, and layouts and structure should be like a real person who had lived the story to tell you. Again, it generated another one and cleaned it up a little bit, keep on going. Is that the best you can do? That's one of the prompt styles that I've asked or used before. It says, hey, is that the best you can do after it gives a response? Absolutely right. Too many exaggerated words. Went down a little bit further. Keep on going through this. And then it went, I just moved in. Now this is one of the other videos that I did, I think yesterday, but there's personal stories. Everyone has a personal story. One I told yesterday was about that I built a deck with my son in the spring, who moved into a new build house, who hadn't built a deck before, didn't know how to build a deck, but it was that process or that story of going through and learning how to do a deck. So I gave a little bit of a background about no grass was laid, it was a new build, all it had is no fences, the soil had just been put down. I wanted to do or build a deck with him, didn't have the tools, didn't know what materials to do, and it was about the first time deck building story and going through giving a little background, and then this is what it came up with. Starting my first deck build, I moved into my new home last fall, looking out the back window, all I saw was dirt. So this is an actual story that's been created by AI based on the idea of a story that I put together or told ChatGPT about. Now this is something anyone can use, and with the prompt, I think it's getting to the point now where if you have the idea of the story or a situation, it can go through and basically create anything that you need with the story put into it. Now, you're going to have to fine tune it, of course, and I think there's a great opportunity to do that. But as I went through, deck building story with integrated lessons, and then I picked one of the pieces from it. See, it's one thing to have, say information, but if you can get some lessons learned or build out that topical authority map, which is covered in the campus map, very first one is about doing the 1, 15, 25, one theme or topic, 15 categories, 25 or 30 questions about each of those categories. One of the categories that obviously in deck building is materials, right? So if you do something about deck building to introduce it, but then the next story that you tell is about picking the materials, and another story is about the tools and going to Home Hardware or wherever the store is to figure out what kind of saw that you need or how much lumber you need or figuring out how to do the posts or the foundations. All of these things are different categories that different stories can be told about. So I just went through and did a little bit. And what I did is this is the important part right here. If I provided a list of topics or questions that came up during a project like this, can the prompt be created for the newsletter story to be sent each week? So if you want to do a newsletter, if you want to do a how-to course, and you have those topics, what I'm saying to ChatGPT is, can we build a story, or can you help me build a story that allows me to weave that into my content so it sounds authentic, as if it's coming from a real person and that there's real value in that. Let me design a system to do that. And here's what happens. So, came up with a particular structure and then cutting deck boards with nothing when nothing's level. So it's created content for me that comes across in a personal way that's very simple. So the other part that's going to happen here is while I'm doing this and I'm creating all this content, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to have ChatGPT. Oh, sorry, I don't think I was showing the screen. My apologies on this one. So I was building out these different topics about, about first-time deck building story, and then with integrated lessons, and then I did picking lumber, And we just kind of broke it down into those sessions, and I asked for 52 weeks for all the different pieces. So what I'm doing in this one is I'll now have a template for a prompt that I can give you guys that you can basically just say, hey, this is the information about my story. This is the situation. This is what happened. These are the things that I did during whatever the story is, and the prompt will prompt you to give those. You can put that in, whether it be building a deck, finishing furniture, finding a new job, creating an online course, investing in mutual funds. Doesn't matter what it is, there's all those little pieces that you can have now with the story that's authentic, but you have the help of ChatGPT putting together all of this content. So again, let me know if there's any questions. I'm doing my best to see them here. I don't have the actual, I'm just looking at my screen as I'm watching the video on another one. And let me just, I'm not sure. Let me just open up another one to see if it's actually here. Just open this up on my particular thread and see if it shows up on this one. Nope, that's not it. Again, pardon me on this because I've not done these ones with chat before. Let's go to this one here and we'll see if we can do the live session. I don't want to miss any chats if there are any questions. And then let's do this one here. I'll just open it up. There we go. So it doesn't look like there's any chats for me there. That's cool. No questions. That's fine. So that was the one we did this morning, membership site. I didn't like, so it's unlisted. So I'm going to have a prompt for you that you'll be able to see how that works and what's important. And I think, you know, having the story or the ability to tell a story in this is, yes, going to be really important. And it's something we should all learn. If you're great at storytelling, that's absolutely wonderful. If you're not, and you need a little bit of help, I think this prompt will really help you out. So that's it on those ones. The next up, I think I might just want to talk about here is I just want to get into this whole idea of newsletters. I talked about it earlier this week just to make sure that I get this message out and across again, is that I think newsletters are making a big comeback, and they will so more in the next year or so. 2025, I think, is going to be the year of the newsletter and complementing and or with YouTube. And I think there's a whole bunch of reasons for that. And one of them is the ability to tell a story that you can't tell in social media. And if you can combine a newsletter as a summary of the YouTube videos and the story that you're telling in the summary, I think that's going to be really powerful for your marketing, but also going to give the ability to create those hidden courses from YouTube, turning your marketing material into actual courses, which is going to be kind of fun. So I don't know if I want to go any longer today. We've been on 22 minutes. Here's the last thing I will kind of mention, and other video that'll be available, I think, tomorrow is, I'll show you my notes for it just so you can see what I've been working on. But this particular one, here we go, membership site versus campus. And if you haven't seen how I do these, I'll do it quickly for you. This is one here. This is one of the videos that I'll be doing again either today or tomorrow. But this is how I create the videos for YouTube and also for the courses. We'll go through that quickly. And again, this is all complemented by ChatGPT and some of the prompts that are available in trainingsites.io. And this one here, we've got building your campus. In this particular one, I was thinking about what's the difference between a campus and a membership site. What's the difference between a webinar and a workshop? What's the difference in the type of content that you have in both? So I said, hey, you know what? I better put a little bit of a course together on this because it's a question that I get asked. And more importantly, it's one that I see everyone struggling with. So throw down some ideas here. And these ideas come from notes that I collected. And again, I'll make these all available when I do this one. The notes that I collected after doing all of the work on ChatGPT about, as an example on this one, what's the difference between a virtual webinar and a virtual workshop. So just going through this content, being able to put something together, it's very, very easy to use and put slop together if we just cut and paste this, but you have to get that personal story and interweave it in. So I think that'll be, I don't know if I'm going to do any more today. We'll stop today and go from there. Again, if there's any of this stuff that you're interested in finding out about, learning how to create online courses, learning what technology that you need to do to build a membership site or a campus, to make YouTube videos, to follow these processes, I'd love to help you out. Just go to trainingsites.io. The link is there below. Like and subscribe to the channel. We've got 300 videos that are here available. The courses are all being added to the new version of the membership site. The beta software just got an actual update today, a couple hours ago, that we've started to put in. And let me just do this one. I didn't send an email out for this. I forgot to do that. Yeah, let me open up one here, see if I can find one that's open on this one. I'm on the top of the page here. Just give me a sec. So we're going to do, yeah, so this is new community software just being put together. Again, update today. I think next week they're going to have the final release build on it, but this is where the courses and the videos, that kind of stuff, are going to be available, and also the workshops that we have and cohorts that we have around those particular topics, whether it be building courses, building campuses, or marketing your courses and campus. So this is what we're building out. It's not quite finished yet. We're moving everything from LearnDash and BuddyBoss over to this. It's just a little bit more simple, and it covers some of the stuff that I was just talking about with campus versus membership site. So it's just like real life stuff, stories that you're running into with clients, just telling the story while you're doing it, that digital exhaust and being able to put it all together. If you want to learn how to do that, why I do it, how to do it, I'd love to spend some time with you doing that. What was the last thing? Oh yeah, I'm going to put the links to these. I did another video this week talking about the sales process or the sales journey that people talk about. And one of the things that came up that was kind of funny is I was looking at a course that I did called Face-to-Face Selling, and I was looking at when I actually started selling it and all of that good stuff. So what I did is I actually went to Wayback Machine. If you're not familiar with that, Wayback Machine is it's part of, now I think Google bought it if I'm not mistaken, but it is basically snapshots of history on the web of when stuff started and stopped. And this one is kind of funny. If you take a look at it, this one is face-to-faceselling.com. I still own this domain. And here's the cool part. Customer Blueprinting was the name. This is the sales page that I had, but the date is the important one. June 30th, 2002. So this was like 14, 15 years ago is when this course was actually being sold. And this is the sales page. This is the actual sales page to sell that course. And if you take a look at this sales page versus what a sales page is for a course today, you can see it's dramatically different. But the actual content from here, the course content, I'm going to put back in, because when I was looking at this whole thing with authenticity and being connected to people and all the stuff that's happening online with telling stories, this conversational selling stuff about being able to converse with someone online and offline is the exact same stuff that we're dealing with now when it comes to teaching online and selling online. So stay tuned for this one. I think you'll get a kick out of it. It's some pretty interesting stuff for fun. This is just like fun material. It's not something that you have to obviously go through as part of a cohort or as part of a group to get to a transformation. This is reference material. But I kind of think you'd get a kick out of it. And the part that's exciting for me, it's something from June 2002. Just tells you how old I am and how long I've been doing this kind of stuff. So again, I'm just checking the chat. We got no one on. That's cool. Okay, no questions. I'm fine with that. Live chat, nothing on there. Okay, that's it. That's all. If you do have questions, put them in the comments below. Like and subscribe to the channel. Visit trainingsites.io. Get registered. The campus map course is free now. We're moving all the other stuff over as fast as we can. Again, my name is James. Last name's Maduk, M-A-D-U-K, trainingsites.io. Take care and expect the best. We'll be back again later this afternoon or even tomorrow as I go over all of this great stuff to help you start, build, and grow your education business. Take care. Expect the best.